Chomrip Sor, my friends. I hope you guys are doing good, and I am back again with another video. So today I'm going to, watch some interesting, amazing clips of Cambodia back in the 1920s. The reason why, I decided to watch this because I have studied a little bit from the last couple of days about the history of Cambodia, and the other two, the reaction videos that I made about the history of the Khmer kings, and about the general who sacrificed his life just to raise a ghost army, just really fascinated me because honestly speaking, I knew about Cambodia as a country from a long time, and I also knew about Angkor Wat, and it's a very religious, spiritual country, and it's a country full of cultural stuff and all these things. But honestly, when you start digging deeper, I mean to say, when you start studying more and more and more, and when you do a lot of research, you get to know a lot of things. And the last 2 months has been so amazing for me. Thank you to all of you who are watching my videos and you're putting down your comments. That really means a lot to me. So I just want to go a bit towards the late 19th century and the 20th century. So today I want to watch this video along with you guys, because I think the best way to understand a culture is also to watch the old documentaries, because with the new generation coming, a lot of things are happening. But let's not ignore the past. Let's go back and see what our forefathers or the researchers back then have found about Cambodia. So without wasting much time, guys, let's watch this video. I might have a lot of questions, guys. I'm letting you know in advance. So if you feel that I'm wrong at any point of time, please do let me know in the comment section, because this is the best way to connect with people. Because me being not aware of the history of Cambodia much, I'm also looking forward to learn a lot from all of you. So let's enjoy this video, guys.
In the 1920s, Cambodia was a deeply spiritual nation, where every local man had to spend at least a year in a monastery.
Whoa. So once in their life they have to spend time in monastery. Now that's kind of...
Because so much of the land was regularly flooded, many houses were built on stilts.
Oh, okay.
This is eternal Cambodia. If you tell me that this image was took yesterday, I would believe you, because this is the traditional Cambodia as it always was.
You know why why I'm shocked to see that house? Because there's a place in India called Assam. It's in the northeastern part of India. Even on the villages in the remote areas of Assam, because of flood, they used to use those stick and used to make the house one floor ahead, because the flood issues has been constantly causing a lot of problems there. So people usually make similar houses there as well. So you can see, right, how India and Cambodia has been connected back from God knows how many decades and centuries. Wow.
This unusual photograph shows a Cambodian official working in the French colonial service.
Ces photos expriment un peu justement.
These photographs give you a feeling of the transitional quality of things in Cambodia, in this period between modernity and tradition.
Tradition. On voit qu'il y a les éléments.
You can see some modern elements, the hat, the moustache, the bow tie, but he's also dressed in Cambodian style with his sampot trousers. The interesting thing is the way it's all mixed up.
Mixed up, yes.
Cambodia had neither the raw materials nor the population of Vietnam, so it couldn't generate huge sums of money for France. But it did possess one of the glories of Indochina.
But I want to know, what made the country of France, be a part of Cambodia? I mean, like, they were there to rule the country, or they were there to help the country? Because I know colonization was a part of most of the Asian countries, including India, Thailand and other countries, Burma, Myanmar, and so many other countries. So was Cambodia a part of the French colony as well? Please do let me know, guys.
The temple complex of Angkor.
The legendary Angkor
Built
Wat.
by the ancient kings of Cambodia, Angkor had been largely abandoned in the 15th century when Phnom Penh became the capital city. In 1860, it was visited by the French explorer Henri Moore. Europe was enthralled by his sensational account of amazing temples and dramatic ruins cloaked in dense forest. When Buzy first approached Khan, he had promised to make Angkor a priority.
Le prestige d'Angkor est considéré
Angkor was a very prestigious site in that era. You were dealing with a set of ruins which could be compared to the Temple of Solomon. There was nothing comparable in the world. With all that history, all those memories preserved in its walls and temples, the archives of the planet just had to have it.
Les archives de la planète ne pouvaient pas s'en dispenser.
So when they say that when Phnom Penh became the capital, 15th or 16th century, Angkor was left behind. So does it mean that no people used to live there? I mean, like, people from Cambodia, they just left that place completely and they just ignored it, or they decided to move back from somewhere? What happened? I mean, like, yeah, of course in 1860, according to this video, the French scholar or historian, he found this place, I understand. But what about the local people there? So they were not knowing about this place anymore, or it was hidden in the jungles? It's kind of a lot of questions coming in my head, guys, so I really don't know. But if anyone of you watching this video, do let me know in the comment section again.
In February 1921, Buzy journeyed across the Mekong to get his first glimpse of the magnificent ruins of Angkor.
1920.
His film and photographs depict an archetypal lost city, full of exotic statues and mysterious wall carvings.
Buddha.
The tallest and best preserved building was called Angkor Wat, the Temple of the City.
It has always been the symbol of Cambodia.
Yes.
This is the largest, the biggest, the most beautiful temple. You can hardly criticize when you see the general plan of Angkor Wat. If you are an architect, you can hardly find a failure.
Wow.
Everything is perfect.
Amazing.
Buzy took numerous pictures of Angkor Wat, but like many later photographers, he was also drawn to another temple built nearby, about 100 years later, the Bayon.
Bayon. What
You have
is
these
Bayon?
enormous faces, 3 or 4 meters high it seems like, and there's maybe 70, and they're all looking in different directions. And it's this very kind of all-knowing, smiling face with these big eyes kind of looking out over the jungle. I think one of the challenges of photographing a Bayon is to try and get as many faces in the same frame. And I think in a couple of his photographs, he's been very clever to be able to find the right vantage point.
By 1921, French archaeologists had cleared many of the temples and were beginning the long process of restoration.
To start with, the priority.
When they talk about French archaeologists started finding it, I just really want to know, what about the people from Cambodia? I mean, like, just because, was it like a part of French colony back in the 1920s? Is it because of that the French decided to, find out all this stuff, or what's that? I mean, like, it's kind of like I'm not able to get it, because I think I might have missed a lot of prior history, like how the French people entered Cambodia. Maybe I will try to do a more research on that and maybe make more videos in future?
These were very basics, clearing temples one by one. It was a task which was really challenging, very exciting one, because this is one of the largest archaeological sites in the world. They started to introduce restoration.
And yeah, guys, in fact, talking about the, back in the 1920s, when there was no advanced, way of, cleaning stuff and all, and it was really laborers who used to use their tools to, cut those branches, trees, or whatever things it was there back then. Must have been very tough for people there. Wow, hats off to the people that how they managed to clear all those temples like almost 100 years before. Wow.
And spectacular restoration where they rebuilt integrally some monuments which had previously completely disappeared.
In addition to the small army of Cambodians employed by the French to clear the site, Bussy found the lost city of Angkor to be a surprisingly busy place. His trip coincided with an official visit by a Siamese prince and his entourage. He photographed local boys fishing with bamboo baskets in a temple moat, and a Cambodian family in front of their country's most important monument. Inside Angkor Wat, he took dozens of portraits of monks. It was built to represent Mount Meru, which in Hinduism is the home of the gods. But over the centuries, Angkor Wat had become an important site for Cambodian Buddhists.
I guess that it can be a little bit like Muslim people who go to Mecca.
Okay.
You wish that at least once in your life you have to see Angkor Wat.
At Angkor Wat, Bussy encountered a troupe of Cambodian dancers.
Whoa.
He was entranced.
Oh yes. Yeah, I've seen this form of dance, yeah. That must be so old, right?
In Cambodia, dance was far more than entertainment. According to one founding myth, the Cambodian people were descended from the holy union of a hermit and a celestial dancer.
Holy union of a hermit and a celestial
Dancers, in a way, are the link between the human and the divine. And the dance had a ritual function. For example, the Muni Mekala dance is actually a rain dance. It's a battle between a storm demon and a sea nymph, a sea goddess. And when thunder and lightning go at each other, it brings rain.
So I just want to ask you guys, if you're still watching this video, the dance Muni Mikala, whatever she is referring here in this video, is it the same dance which we see in the modern day Cambodia, the traditional dance, what people usually do in Cambodia, or is it different from the modern Cambodian dance? When I'm talking about modern dance, I'm not talking about the new age pop music and all. The traditional dance which is still followed in the country of Cambodia. Is it the same as like Muni Mikala? I'm sorry if my pronunciation is wrong. Let me know, guys.
To nourish the rice fields of Cambodia.
Bussy carried on to Phnom Penh, where he filmed the king's own personal troupe. This unique film shows the royal ballet in rehearsal.
Oh, royal ballet. Okay. They used to dance for the kings then.
To have this material recorded, to see the exercises, is just amazing. Simply because no one would have seen them. No one except literally the dancers and the king.
Wow. Hats off to you for clicking all these amazing pictures.
In the 1970s, during the murderous rule of the Khmer Rouge, 90% of the dancers in Cambodia's royal ballet were either killed or exiled. The carnage almost destroyed a tradition which had...
Why were the dancers being killed or exiled? Now, this is something really disturbing. They are just portraying the culture of one country. And I don't see a point why, they have to be killed. Whoa, what was the reason behind that? That's kind of sad, man.
Lasted hundreds of years. Kente is one of the few dancers to have survived the turmoil of the Khmer Rouge era. Today she teaches in Phnom Penh, demonstrating to a new generation the skills Buzi photographed in the night.
People like her, great job to her. I mean, like, you know, this is a culture that has to be carried forward for years and years to come. I mean, like, I don't really know why they were being killed. Whoa, this is so sad, man.
1920s.
The training was very tough. The teacher was always hitting us, and they would pinch us and twist us in order to make us dance properly. You would spend the whole morning training to make your hands supple. They would get me to bend my fingers, and then to do this, and then to show this. The fingers curved like thorns on an orange tree.
All the members of the royal ballet lived within the palace compound in the quarters of the king's harem. The royal family itself was directly involved in training the dancers.
Okay.
Princess Bhupa Devi, sister to the present king of Cambodia, was one of the most famous dancers of the 1960s.
In those days, the dancers from the Royal Ballet were all one big family, and the king looked after that family. Everyone lived within the walls of the royal palace.
You know, you can just understand the culture, because if the rulers and the kings used to treat the dancers as a part of their family, how much importance they used to give to, you know, art, culture, music. You can just this is the best example. Like, I don't have to tell anything else, guys. Wow, amazing.
Mothers with their children, and the skills and techniques were passed from mother to daughter, generation to generation.
Nice.
The costumes worn by the dancers were hugely elaborate. It was a performance in itself just to get into them.
Yeah.
The corset had to be very tight. If it wasn't, it would be uncomfortable to dance it. A tight corset gave you a very straight back. If not, you would just slump. So the tighter the better, really.
Must be not
We
easy.
didn't have zips or anything like that. Costumes were actually sewn onto the dancers.
By the time Buzi shot this film, the Cambodian Royal Ballet was already famous in Europe after their performance at a festival of colonial art in France.
Wow, nice.
They got to Marseille and were just absolutely the knockout hit of the festival. They were performing indoors, and there were such riots of people trying to get in that they moved the performances outdoors, and they played for 30,000 people a night.
30,000 people.
There was a real appreciation that there could be true and brilliant art in one of these native places.
Extravagant attempt to bring the culture of Indochina to Europe when they built this replica of Angkor Wat in Paris in 1931.
Des millions de Français.
Millions of French people rushed to see the colonial exhibition, just to see Angkor Wat.
Vous avez encore des...
Now, this is really amazing, guys. I mean, what should I say? I mean, like, maybe to an extent French colonization has been good to the country of Cambodia. What do you guys think? I have no idea. I'm no one to judge here. I'm just trying to understand the history of Cambodia and what it has to do with French colonization. Wow, that is really nice, man. And I'm still really curious about why the dancers were being killed. I mean, like, that's really, you know, kind of sad story for me. because a country full of culture and country full of, you know, promoting music, art, and then they're being killed at one point of time in the 1970s. That's kind of upsetting, honestly, but nevertheless, there are a lot of things to learn, guys. I mean, like, what I got to know today is, like, I have to understand the connection of French people with Cambodia, how it all started. And according to this documentary, they say that in 1860 Angkor Wat was discovered. But what about, you know, what about the people of Cambodia before then? They've completely forgotten the temple, they were not going inside, or what was happening? I mean, like, I have a lot of questions. Like, maybe I need to do a bit more research and then come back for all of you, maybe watch some more fascinating videos. This journey will continue, guys. Do let me know in the comment section your valuable inputs. What do you think about this documentary and what all history you know? I'm always looking forward, you know, to read your comments and understand what do you guys feel about all this historical facts. I hope you guys like this video. I will come again with another video. Until then, guys, take care, stay safe, namaste.